Hello everyone, I am Erica J. Allen Yuhan from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies, second year. And today, I am discussing the RA 9442 or also known as Republic Act 7277 Magna Carta for Disabled Person. So, here is the brief history of RA 7277 Magna Carta for Disabled Person. So this act provides the rights and privileges of disabled person and their integration into the mainstream of society. The state acknowledges the disabled person as part of the society and their full potential have to be developed and improved to achieve total well-being so that they will become independent and functional into the mainstream of the society. So, for this reason, Republic Act 7277 Magna Carta for Disabled Persons has been adapted to ensure their rehabilitation, self-development, and self-reliance, thereby achieving necessary skills and capabilities to take their essential part in the community. Every citizen should be involved in giving equal rights to disabled person that of any other person in society. Like any other people, disabled persons should live as free and independently as possible without discrimination from the society where they belong. The rehabilitation of disabled persons should be geared towards community-based programs to encourage full support and participation from the different sectors in the community. The private sectors are also encouraged to extend the role as partner of the state in the society to foster the welfare of disabled persons in the programs aimed to respond to their specific special needs, thus cultivating the full capabilities of disabled person and eventually attaining a productive and fulfilling life. The state encourages everyone to uphold respect for disabled persons to make possible their integration into mainstream society. It also makes all the efforts to eradicate hindrances that are discriminating the capabilities and potential of disabled persons. Who are the person that is under the RA 7277? So person with a disability are the suffering from restriction or different abilities as a result of a mental, physical, sensory impairment to perform an activity in a manner or within the range considered normal for a human being. In general, a person with a disability is someone who has a long-term physical, hearing, seeing, a cognitive, mental, or emotional impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. Disability, however, occurs on a continuum and there is no clearly defined line between those who have a disability and those who do not. So there are 7 rights and privileges of PWDs under the RA 7277. So these are employment, education, health, auxiliary social services, telecommunication, accessibility, political and civil rights. Employment. No entity shall discriminate against a qualified person with a disability by a reason of individual disability in procedures, hiring, promotion, and the like. Equal opportunity for employment. No disabled person shall be denied access to opportunities for suitable employment. A qualified disabled employee shall be subject to the same terms and conditions of employment and the same compensation, privileges, benefits, fringe benefits, incentives, or allowances as a qualified able-bodied person. Education. Recognition of the right of person with disabilities to quality education and opportunities to develop their abilities or skills to thrive in life. The state shall ensure that disabled persons are provided with adequate access to quality education and ample opportunities to develop their skills. It shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all disabled persons. It shall be unlawful for any learning institution to deny a disabled person admission to any course it offers because of handicap or disability. The state shall take into consideration the special requirements of disabled persons in the formulation of educational policies and programs. It shall encourage learning institutions to take into account the special needs of disabled persons concerning the use of school facilities, class schedules, physical education requirements, and other pertinent consideration. Health. The Department of Health coordination with the National Council for the Welfare of Disabled Persons shall institute a national health program which shall aim to attain the following. First is prevention of disability, whether occurring prenatally or postnatally. Second, recognition and early diagnosis of disability. And third, early rehabilitation of the disabled. So the Department of Health shall establish medical rehabilitation centers in the government provincial hospitals and shall include in its annual appropriation the necessary funds for the operation of such center. The Department of Health shall formulate and implement a program to enable marginalized disabled persons to avail themselves of pre-rehabilitation services in government hospitals. Therefore, the state shall protect and promote the right to health of disabled persons and shall adopt an integrated and comprehensive approach to their health development, which shall make essential health services available to them at affordable costs. Auxiliary social service. Social welfare to undergo physical, social, vocational rehabilitation shall be provided to restore their social functioning and community participation. So the state shall ensure that marginalized persons are provided with the necessary auxiliary services that will restore their social functioning and participation in community affairs. Toward this end, the Department of Social Welfare and Development shall develop and implement programs on auxiliary social services that respond to the needs of marginalized disabled persons. Telecommunications. So, enabling access to telecommunication and technology to promote and implement accessibility for PWD's specific needs. So, television stations shall be encouraged to provide a sign language inset or subtitles in at least one newscast program a day, and special programs covering events of national significance. In Section 23, Telephone Services stated that all telephone companies shall be encouraged to install special telephone devices or units for the hearing impaired and ensure that they are commercially available to enable them to communicate through the telephone system. Accessibility. Ensure the attainment of barrier-free environment that will enable them to have access to public and private buildings and establishments. So, accessibility is when the needs of people with disabilities are specifically considered and product services and facilities are built or modified so that they can be used by people of all abilities. Here are few examples of accessibility. First is parking spaces are close to entrances. Second is floor spaces and hallways are free of equipment and other barriers. So national and local governments shall allocate funds for the provision of architectural facilities or structural features for disabled persons in government buildings and facilities. In Section 27, Access to Public Transport Facilities stated that the Department of Social Welfare and Development shall develop a program to assist marginalized disabled persons gain access to the use of public transport facilities. Such assistance may be in the form of subsidized transportation fare. Political and civil rights. Recognize the right of person with disabilities to vote and to be assisted by a person of his or her choice in voting in the national or local elections. Section 29 stated that disabled persons shall be allowed to be assisted by a person of his choice in voting in the national or local election. So the person thus chosen shall prepare the ballot for the disabled voter inside the voting booth. The person assisting shall bind himself in a formal document under oath to fill out the ballot strictly by the instruction of the voter and not to reveal the contents of the ballot prepared by him. Violation of this provision shall constitute an election offense. Before I end this video, there is a saying that when you focus on someone's disability, you'll overlook their abilities, beauty, and uniqueness. Once you learn to accept and love them for who they are, you subconsciously learn to love yourself unconditionally. So that's all for today's. Thank you for watching and God bless.